Welcome to Going In Blind. I'm your host, Zach Tidwell, and this week I'm speaking with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, competitor, and black belt, Evan Barrett. And to everyone at home, thank you for listening. Please take a second to help me grow the show so that I can keep delivering these conversations week after week for years to come. Subscribe, rate, and review the show in whatever podcasting app you're using right now, and check out the show notes to follow me on social media and YouTube as well. When you share your favorite episodes, tag me and use the hashtag GoingInBlind. You can also join my mailing list at zachtidwell.net. And if you know someone you think I should talk to, have them send me an email at contact.goinginblind@gmail.com. Sensei, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Are you wearing your American flag pants today or no?
Yeah, just, no shirt and American flag pants.
That's actually, I don't have my camera on because I'm not wearing pants. I'm just wearing my nipple tassels, but I was also feeling festive today. So what a coincidence.
I like it.
What's going on, fella?
Oh, just trying to hit this 1,000 roll goal for the year.
Yeah.
Is 18 left to go.
Are you 200 ahead of Stevie like you were hoping for?
6 away from being 200 ahead of Stevie.
I feel like it's going to come down to literally like the last night.
I know.
But
just gonna have to hope they don't show up.
Yeah. Well,
how's it going with you?
I don't know. I mean, it's a weird time. I'm trying to get some of these things knocked out. So, because I'm about to go skiing here in a couple days up in Montana. So,
oh, you're going to Montana? You going to Whitefish?
Yeah, they have a big vet community there. And it seems to be like a bunch of vets who have done really well in their lives outside of the military and who are looking for places to spend their money and ways to support other folks coming out and doing stuff. So,
oh yeah.
I was supposed to go up there because they have a whole veteran community that's part of this, like these programs that bring out disabled vets and stuff. But they were trying to build out with another crew, like a mental health program and suicide prevention stuff, but it got canceled. So I think they felt bad for me and they're still having me go up there to ski for a couple days.
Oh yeah. So it'll be like more personal or what?
Yeah, well, it sounds like we'll just kind of be skiing and chilling.
Oh, nice.
But, yeah. Yeah.
How does that work? Do they just put like a walkie-talkie on you?
No, that's exactly how it works.
Oh.
So they so I have some other blind dudes that I know that can hear out of both ears, and like one of them literally follows a cowbell down the mountain, and so you will hear him all day, like when he's going by you, because he just chases this bell down the mountain. But you've seen that I can't follow sound to save my life with the one ear. So they just do radios and they'll tell me like, hey, we're about to drop in on a double black. When you drop in, hang a left and I'll tell you when you're centered. And then once I'm centered, I can feel it. And it's crazy because the steeper it is, the more I can feel what's going on.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense.
Yeah, except like every once in a while I get vertigo really bad and like I'll take like two sharp of turns back to back or something. And when I go down, it's hard.
Oh,
I've totally lost direction of where I'm at. But
are you skiing or snowboarding?
I ski. I snowboarded when I could see, and I've tried it since I was blind, but I can't tell where I'm going. It's weird. I'll come out of turns and think I'm riding normal and I'm riding switch and then same thing. Just eat it.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I could see how that would happen.
Do you ski?
I do both.
Okay.
I skied for like most of my life when I was younger. My dad really did not like snowboarding. Like he wouldn't let me snowboard. But then he died and I hopped right I hopped right on a snowboard and so that was maybe
wow.
I started snowboarding maybe like 7 years ago.
Is he actually dead?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Cancer.
Fuck.
Yeah. So no, I was just trying to make light of that, but um, yeah. So I started snowboarding, and I think it's funner than skiing, but I'm a much better skier than I am snowboarding. So like last year, I went to Montana with my brother and sister to Whitefish, and I skied there just because otherwise I couldn't keep up with them if I was snowboarding.
Yeah, I miss it. I actually, have you ever seen any of the ski bikes? I don't know
Hmm.
how prevalent they are. Yeah,
I've
so
seen them before.
there's one called a Snow Go, and it's a stand-up bike frame, but in the back, there's two skis in the back instead of just one, and there's no seat.
Oh, weird.
Just well, I take the seat off the post so I can sit on the post. I just I get a better grip. I
Yeah,
get
that
more
sounds about
center.
right.
But they have the back
Can't oil it
skis.
up either.
Yeah, yeah. Just well, I mean, if it's kind of like licking a pole, when it's that cold outside, you just really just clamp on there. But it
Okay.
has it has these it has two skis in the back that you stand on just with like snowboard boots, and it has cleats on it. And so
Uh,
and the front forks actually have shocks. So like as you weight into the handlebars, the back skis articulate, and it's I don't know. That's been like I can hit 360s on that thing.
really?
Yeah, because it's like having that ski out in front of me is kind of like having my cane. Like I get
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
preview. Like I can do moguls on it. Um, it's been pretty wild, but that's like my favorite thing to do now.
So is that usually what you do?
If I
Or
can, that's what I prefer, but it's hard. Most places don't have them, and I have one, but I can't really fly with it. So,
right,
I
that
mean,
makes sense.
you'd have to take the whole thing apart, and it's not worth it. So that's why I've started to learn how to ski because I really don't get to go that much, and most of the places don't have them. So
Are they expensive?
I don't know how much a full set of skis cost, but I think my bike was like 1,200 bucks.
Okay.
So I mean, with boots and bindings and everything, it's probably not that big of a difference.
Are they made for physically disabled people or
No, it's just like it's a normal bike, and it's been an issue because they don't market it as an adaptive thing. So like some mountains won't let you ride them there
oh, really?
because I can't say it's because I'm blind. It's weird, but
Can't you though?
it- I can try, but like some people just aren't having it, man. Like
Uh,
sometimes I can play that pity card, but I don't know.
you'd
Most
think
people
if you
are.
showed up and you couldn't see and you're like, hey, this is adaptive for me, I need it. You think they'd let you up there, but
It's weird, man. I mean, there's Karens everywhere.
that's
I
true.
mean, you get it. You're like that.
Yeah, what?
I mean, you're just, yeah, I don't know. It seems you lean more into the like, okay, I'm going to take advantage of this chance to commit a hate crime than like, I'm going to tell him no kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's like you let me talk shit in front of everyone so that they see that. And then you whisper horrible shit back in my ear. So everyone thinks I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, a real fucking piece of work guy. But
Rather
how
you take
did, what's up?
rather you take the brunt of it than me.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I kind of get away with it. I feel like people definitely still judge me, but I do think I get more of a pass.
Oh yeah, you absolutely get away with it.
Well, I say stuff well, most of the time when I say stupid shit and like I'll get one giggle. I might get a chuckle out of you at the gym. And then like, and I think I said this to you one day. Uh, I was like, yeah, it's worse. The worst part with the silence after trying to make a joke like that is like, I don't even get to see the facial expressions of like, okay, they're just horrified, not that flat out wasn't funny. And you're like, well, you can still hear disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big lesson for me. But
I mean, yeah, there's definitely been times where I'm like, well, if that was anybody else, I don't know if they'd be back at the gym, but Zach's here.
is it
Zach's
actually
a
that bad that time or sometimes?
no.
Oh, okay.
Uh, that one Monday when there's a pretty big class that night, I was like, yeah, we finally got women in the gym for once. Then you're like, bitches.
uh,
Oh, I
well,
was like, damn it, Zach.
I
They still
don't.
came back. Don't worry. They
Yeah,
weren't
that's
offended.
Yeah, again, I just I get away with things.
Yeah.
Being blind isn't bad like everyone thinks it is. You get all this social leeway that you can really just run with.
True, but it's kind of ballsy and like it makes me wonder what you were like when you could see because like you don't know who's in the room. Like you have no idea who you could offend. And
Honestly, I forget sometimes though. I really think it's like a it's kind of the same people at the gym that like know
yeah.
me are the ones that I talk to and the ones that I hear and like a lot of other people even like when we're doing rolls and stuff don't necessarily come grab me to spar. So sometimes it feels like a smaller group than it is until I find out after it's too late and I can't take it back at that point. And then I'm like, well, brain injuries or whatever.
I feel like anytime I say something that's going to be offensive, I like look around all the corners, look under desks, look inside lockers to make sure nobody's there that's going to be offended. So if I was blind, I think I'd probably be mute. I probably wouldn't say anything to anybody.
I don't know, man. I feel like I've always talked a lot of shit. I don't know that I had the I don't really care thing as much until I
Yeah.
was blind.
Huh.
But again, I don't know how much of it is me literally like not being aware of who's there. But
I think it's probably a blessing.
yeah, it's really bad, dude. On these trips when you get because a lot of the ski trips and like the whitewater kayaking stuff that I do or the rock climbing stuff is usually with other disabled vets. A
Hmm.
lot of times it's just blind vets. And
Yeah.
like at that point, it is the most heartless shit that you've ever heard because like nothing's off the table.
Oh
It's
man.
it's pretty bad. But I go on those trips and I can say horrendous shit and everyone laughs. And then I come back home and I come to a class and I think I'm going to be funny. And then I get the silent treatment. So
I would never.
did you play other sports growing up or was it just jujitsu and skiing?
No, I like wrestled in high school. My freshman year I did football and lacrosse, but I sucked at both of them. So
You had the hair of a lax bro though, didn't you?
the hair,
Yeah, like I played lacrosse when we lived like my first 2 years of high school. Or no, I think it was just my sophomore year, but all the dude like a lot of the dudes had that flowy hair that was just long enough to fly out of the back of the helmet and like curl in the wind.
oh
You didn't have any of
yeah, no,
that?
I've always had short hair, but it was like
Oh,
this was 2004, so it was like short and spiky and bleach tipped, and
nice.
it was like a 2004 lacrosse bro.
That's a good look.
Yeah,
That's a strong look. You should bring it back.
yeah. No, my wrestling coach after my freshman year, he's like, "You're gonna play football next year?" I was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "And lacrosse too?" I was like, "Yeah, dude. I'm gonna do it every year." He's like, "Dude, no, you're bad at football. You're bad at lacrosse. Like, you just need to focus on wrestling." And I was like, "Okay."
I'm pretty sure I've heard another story about that same coach and a certain a girlfriend with a certain body type that you dated in high school. Does that ring a bell?
Oh yeah, same coach, Matt.
Okay. What's that guy up to these days? Do you know?
I think he's still coaching wrestling. I'm just
Oh,
not really sure where. It's funny.
yeah, man. I don't know. I bet that guy's still got some stories on things.
Oh yeah, that guy was a wild man.
So did jujitsu come along after high school then?
Yeah, I think I actually found out about jiu-jitsu in high school, and I went to one class when I was like a junior,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Nah, this is stupid. Like, I don't like taking off my shoes to wrestle around.
What?
Like, 'cause in wrestling, you have wrestling shoes. I just got like mat burn on my feet, and I just didn't understand it. So like,
Yeah.
I didn't do any jiu-jitsu for several years, and then like I was like 4 years out of high school. I was getting fat. And I was like, I need to do something. So that's why I went back to jiu-jitsu.
What were you doing in between? Like between
Nothing.
high school? No, you're just chilling?
I like, I was doing like college classes and things like that, but wasn't doing anything athletic
Did you get
after.
your degree?
No,
What were you going for?
I was going for criminal justice.
I cannot see you fucking doing that.
I mean,
That
that's
is,
why I stopped.
dude, you as a cop, like, definitely that sense of humor, absolutely. But like, I can't picture you like being like trying to be serious enough to act like an authority figure.
I mean, yeah, I was working at a hotel while I was working on my degree, and like anytime they'd be like, "Hey, you need to go up to room 212 and tell them to knock it off. They're making too much noise." I would get all like nervous. I'd like knock on the door and be like, yeah, hey, would you guys mind like keeping it down a little bit?" Like I'd get like nervous about it. After I did that several times, I was like, yeah, there's no fucking way I'm gonna be a cop.
Is that really what made you realize?
Yeah. I
That's
was like, I
wild.
can't even fucking tell people to shut up at a hotel. Like, I don't see how I'm gonna fucking fight crime. So,
Yeah, that'd be a tough one.
yeah.
That's kind of that's a big step up.
Hmm.
But I could totally picture you in like a nice plasticky suit. The hotel part checks out.
Oh, yeah. I did that for like 11 years.
Leaving upper deckers and people's toilets and stuff. And
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
100%. Yeah, we got into some crazy stuff working at the hotel too.
Dude, I don't know. I've always just like I feel every time that you check out of a hotel, you're like reminded, like, God, these poor people who do the housekeeping stuff have to see some horrible shit.
Yeah.
That's when I got out of the Marines, I really wanted to be an ER nurse. And so I started going to school for nursing and was working at a local hospital as a CNA.
Yeah.
Because that's like the natural progression of things. And we had, I mean, that's as a CNA, you're just doing the bitch work that the nurses are over certified for or helping them when they need an extra set of hands. And we had
Right.
this old lady in my unit was Russian and spoke no English. And so we couldn't really communicate with her, but they had like interpreting services that we could use if we needed to communicate directly with her. She wasn't very with it, but her son would come in and he could speak English and Russian, but this woman was severely impaired from a stroke and we had to keep her dentures out because it's a risk that she's going to choke on them because like she really just wasn't with it. And her
Uh-huh.
son came in, I guess, while he was visiting and put her dentures in, maybe so they could talk. I don't
Yeah.
really know, but she ends up shitting herself and just like it was like taking those jello pouches of pudding and you just smashed them in her fucking sheets. It was horrible. So, but we
Oh
didn't know
my
she'd had her
God.
dentures in.
She did that
So
while she had her dentures in?
yeah, and so we went in there not knowing that she had the dentures in, changed her sheets and cleaned her up and stuff. And then later went to go like think it was when it was time for her to eat. We had to find the dentures and we were like, where are the dentures? Couldn't find them anywhere, couldn't find them anywhere. And long story short, I got the short end of the stick because I was the new CNA
Hmm.
and had to go dig through there's like a room with all the soiled linens in it. And so it's gross. It's already hospital linens. But
Oh,
then there's these just Play-Doh pudding fucking sheets that I'm having to scavenge for those fucking dentures. And
I'm so confused. You said she shit herself?
yeah, she was cognitively impaired from the stroke that she'd had. And so she like completely shit like it was a blowout in her sheets. So we had to change her sheets,
What's
but
that have to do with her dentures? Like, did she have her dentures in her ass? I'm confused.
she'd had them in and they came out at some point. I don't know how they wound up in these shit sheets and I had to go find
Oh,
them. I'm elbow deep in these
oh my
fucking
gosh.
shit covered sheets. And when I check out of hotels, I always like remember that. And I'm like, these women have probably had stories like that.
That's awful.
Yeah.
So that's when you decided you're going full time as a CNA?
Yeah, that's when I was like, "Hey, I'm out. I'm gonna shoot myself. This is my this is my ticket out of here." So, yeah, I
This lady
mean,
shit herself. I'm gonna go shoot myself.
yeah, yeah. I couldn't get it out of my eyes, so you know, I got rid of that problem.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I guess at what point did you start teaching jujitsu then?
It's like 2017. So I was actually a brown belt when I started teaching, and it kind of got thrown on my lap. So have you met Dusty, the
I
actual owner
th
of Fulcrum?
I think once or twice.
Oh, okay. So yeah, when Dusty bought it, like Dusty, he's got a whole other business that he runs. So he wanted the gym, but he didn't have the time to run it. So he asked me to do it, and I was working at the hotel at the time. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And so I hadn't really taught a whole lot after, like, before jumping into it. Um, but yeah, I just jumped right into teaching full time.
You went from not doing it to now you're running the gym.
Yeah. So 7
That's
years
nuts.
later and teach pretty much 7 days a week, all day, every day.
All day or day. When was your last desk pop? But I mean, were you serious about competing all the time? Because, or like that entire time? Because I I don't understand. Because like now, even in black belt tournaments, like you fuck people up pretty consistently when you do these matches, and even like the pro matches.
I mean, I still lose matches. I just don't talk about that. Um,
That's yeah. I mean, I don't either. I'm like, yeah, I compete in Brazilian jiu-jitsu against people without disabilities.
yeah,
I
it's not
leave
really
it at
fair.
that. I leave it at that because I did really well as a white belt competing,
Hmm.
and as a blue belt, I've just gotten my ass handed to me when I've competed. I mean, you saw,
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna
yeah,
we're gonna set you straight. Uh,
yeah.
no, I competed a lot. Up until black belt. I feel like I was a pretty mediocre black belt when I first got my black belt. Um, but maybe in the last 3 or 4 years, I think I've made a big jump, especially in my like understanding. Like a lot of that has to do with like our new affiliation. Like we just now affiliated with him, with Rob Bernacki, but I've been studying his stuff for years, for
Like
like
his
the last four
videos.
years. Yeah, and just like the conceptual understanding that I've taken from his stuff, I think has made a world of difference for me.
Is that, I mean, I guess I've always been kind of confused by that because, I mean, you see the black belts coming into the gym and obviously you're still progressing, but like you don't go to other classes really, do you?
No, not really. I mean,
Is that typical?
uh, not for everybody, but probably for like smaller gyms. Yeah,
Okay.
there's usually a black belt instructor, and then like I get my classes in through seminars, or like I went to camp in Canada with Rob back in October for Worlds. Like we did a camp there. Um, but then a lot of it's just like studying his material that he has on his website. Um, but honestly, I think people think like you have to be rolling with like people your skill level. I don't think that's true. I think if you have like white to purple belts as like cannon fodder, you can get really fucking good.
Because you could just work on what you want to work on with like real resistance.
Yeah, it's like real resistance, but still shitty enough that you can try the stuff you want to try.
Damn.
Yeah.
I should start coming to the kids' classes. Really work my way up.
I'm just only gonna let you train with shitty white belts for the next year, and we'll see how that goes.
I am actually really excited about that. And I told Denise about that when she was bringing me home from class the other day. Like, I'm so excited for the calendar to roll over because there's going to be New Year's resolutions people in there. And I'll have someone like, I have some stuff that I want to work on right now and I cannot hit it on anyone. So, like, I'll have someone that I can manhandle for a little bit
Yeah.
and start developing some stuff. Have you ever tried like have you gone around teaching seminars or thought about doing your own stuff outside of the gym or is it just it's not that big of an interest to you?
No, I'd like to at some point. Maybe a few years down the road. Um, it's not, it's more my own confidence level. Like I feel like I have good stuff, but I don't know if I feel confident enough yet, where I feel like other people would see the benefit in that. So I don't even try to pursue that. I'm like, well, my people at my gym like what I'm teaching. I just, I don't know
Just
if I could go to like New Mexico or I don't know, I just made up a state, but uh, and then be like, oh yeah, we want to pay you money to teach us for a 3 hour seminar.
yeah.
Uh, but hopefully sometime down the future, I can
I don't know. I feel like
start
you
doing that.
could. I mean, it doesn't seem like, do you really prep going into classes? I know you know what you're going to teach, but it doesn't feel like you've like rehearsed what you're going to be talking about for an hour while you're teaching.
Yeah, I don't really rehearse, but I do preparation. Like every Sunday, I kind of
Oh,
review
okay.
through all my notes and try to make sure that I remember what the hell I'm doing. It's just there's a vast amount of knowledge out there, and I only have room in my brain for so much.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Do you have
but
any more big tournaments coming up?
nothing in the near future. Worlds was kind of a wake up call. Went out there and lost my first match at Worlds, and not really used to losing my first match.
Yeah. Well, you've been spending a lot of time fucking up blind people lately, so maybe you should
Uh,
get your shit straight.
maybe my next tournament should just be against blind people.
Yeah. Well, there's a gym owner. I think he's an army vet, but he's got one leg. You could call him out. You want to
Oh,
do it
here
right
in
now?
Colorado?
Yeah, he's up in Fort Collins. You could call him out here on the pod.
Oh, yeah. Is he a black belt?
Pretty sure.
All right, yeah, I should be able to take him.
Okay. I can't remember. It's Rustin something, but
Oh,
what?
Rustin Hughes?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I've seen him
Okay.
compete before. He's really good.
Are you guys the same size?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much
Okay.
leg weight factors into
I would imagine it's
weight
quite
class.
a bit. Yeah.
No, but
I,
I've seen him compete. He fucks people up. Like he's legitimately good.
yeah, he's been trying to get um like more of a Paralympic bracket kind of started in the States because I think they do one in Abu Dhabi that's
Oh, really?
para and he goes to because I've seen him post about it. Like I've been connected with him online for a couple of years at this point, but I've never met him yet.
Hmm.
We were connected through a mutual friend that used to guide me skiing. But um yeah, I know recently like he started putting stuff out about trying to build that more in the United States because judo is a Paralympic sport, but not
Jiu-jitsu.
jujitsu, which is kind of wild.
I'm sure
But
it's a matter of time. It's such a huge sport right now.
yeah, it's growing. But well, sir,
I feel like jiu-jitsu might be bigger than judo. Not in the Olympic capacity of it, but just in the amount of just the sheer numbers of people who are actively practicing jiu-jitsu has got to be more than judo.
I would think so. I mean, it's obviously my like the data set that I get is biased because sometimes it comes up from me talking about jujitsu, but I don't know that I've ever met someone that's like, yeah, I do judo.
Right? I know a
But
few people, but
hang on here. My computer's trying to talk over you. Um, Need to get it to shut its pie hole. What else you got? I mean, I'm really trying to step around the fact that you're really like a low key piece of shit that people don't hear about.
I
So,
think that's just to you though. I've been really nice to everybody at the gym.
I think it's hilarious. I tell people about it. I do. I tell people about it because people don't. I I don't know if I use it as like a defense for like when I say fucked up stuff.
Like, well,
I'm
my
like,
coach,
yeah, I'll be like, dude, you got to see my jujitsu coach.
you think
We
I'm bad?
we give high fives at the end of class, and every once in a while he'll just walk backwards at the back of the line. So I just keep high fiving people, or turn his head while he's calling my name, so his voice bounces off the walls in different spots, and I can't tell where he's at.
Yeah, I do fuck with you a lot. I'm so sorry.
No, I think it's funny because I do, but I mean, a lot of people, especially, I think it's a lot of times people who haven't been around people with disabilities, and I know my sense of humor is pretty jacked, but I realize that's part of it too, but tend to walk on eggshells around me.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I don't know. I appreciate it because I talk shit and you talk shit back.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the levity of it. It's I think people get weird, especially when they find out the circumstances of your blindness. They're like, wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know. That's another weird one. And because I've seen both sides of it where
Hmm.
like early on I had a hard time talking about it because I was really embarrassed and especially before I had any sort of independence back. And so I would beat around the bush with it and people would keep pushing for questions about it
Oh
and
yeah.
then I would kind of blurt out like one a voice like well I shot myself in the face
They're
and
like,
then
oh fuck, sorry.
yeah then I'd get a bad reaction and I'm like man these people are assholes and but it was me and then now I try and just I mean I'm comfortable with it now but so I'm
Yeah.
just open about it and most people don't seem to take it weirdly I know it's like I'll bomb to drop on people a little bit but
But
I don't know
sometimes I think it's better just to be straightforward. I think people
yeah
appreciate that.
yeah and sometimes it just takes a bullet to clear your brain you know
God, yeah.
that's what they say.
Have you ever seen that South Park episode where there's like beef between the cripples who were crippled at birth versus
No.
who got crippled later on in life?
No.
Is there beef between blind people from birth versus blind people who later became blind?
It's tough. So most of my exposure to other blind people is vets, like I said, on these trips and things that I do. But I do know I don't it's hard to relate sometimes. Obviously, there's a lot of blind people who have like more adventurous lives and do like a lot of this stuff. But there's also a lot of people that I've met that have had we've just had very different lives because I grew up without a disability. And so our life experience is so different that sometimes it's kind of hard to connect. But I do know, like, in terms of the different blindness organizations that are out there, because there's a bunch of national ones and they have their own political views on things in terms of their relation to blindness that does start beef. Like, that you should have I believe I've heard it's like a solid 10-foot long cane that can't collapse. So, you got to take that fucker on a bus. And like, what are you supposed to do with that? And like, for
Oh,
some reason, that's a thing. And they'll fight for the fact that totally blind people should be able to teach all blindness related skills like
hmm.
O&M, which is that's orientation and mobility and the cane skills.
Uh-huh.
So like one of these organizations believes that someone in my position who's completely blind and deaf in one ear should be able to teach someone else how to cross streets.
Oh,
Which I mean, I don't know how many times I've been pulled back from stepping out in front of a street as I was trying to learn how to listen to traffic, dude. Like
yeah.
that's a horrible idea. But it's stuff like it's weird stuff like that, or um, like being against all the technology. Like you've heard my phone read stuff to me. Like
Yeah.
they don't believe in stuff like that. And where it's like, oh, you should only use Braille for things. And it's weird. I think it's old people beef inside of these organizations, but it just kind of gets put out as,
That's strange.
yeah,
I
yeah, it's
think you'd
weird.
want any advantage you could take.
Yeah, I don't know, but people are just tribal and it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. Do
So,
you go ahead?
is everything that you use, like your computer, you navigate it through like it talking to you?
Yeah. And so there's screen reading software. Like that's what does it on my phone. That's what does it on my
Hmm.
computer. And it can access textual information of apps and websites. But the caveat with that is that whoever developed that stuff, like whoever actually wrote the code for these pieces of software that you're accessing, have to have taken certain steps to leave like data available for these systems. And that goes for screen reading software like for me or low vision people who need magnification or people who have to use their voice to control things, if they're missing arms or have spinal cord injuries.
Right.
And that's how I got into coding was when I was in college after I lost my sight because I decided like, okay, I'm going to try and make some positive out of the suicide attempt. And I was going to try and be a psychologist because, believe it or not, you can't be a nurse being totally blind. No one will let you.
Oh yeah.
So, um, but yeah, I ran into all that stuff, and that's kind of so like that's what I do now when I code is I make stuff that allows these other systems to access that kind of information.
Hmm.
So it's been kind of a weird thing, but yeah, it's technology that's been around forever, but it's still just not.
That's wild. Is it hard to code blind? Or is it the same, you think?
I don't know because I'd never done it when I could see,
Right, that's fair.
and it's it's a pain in the ass when there's errors, which is all the time. That's part of
Right.
coding, but because I have to go character by character to like find like, oh, I missed a bracket here
Right.
or yeah, whatever. But I don't know. It's like I was able to get back into skiing and all this stuff after I lost my sight, but that took time. And like outside of that, I really didn't have like a driving force for anything anymore. So it's become like this thing that I'm ridiculously nerdy about and like really enjoy doing. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think it was like a big part of me getting back to where I was in a good spot mentally, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Hmm.
Because I can actually put something into the world other than just sit around and
Mope.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd hate to compliment you, but that's pretty impressive.
I can edit that out. So, yeah, man.
Don't censor me.
Well, you did. I mean, I've already had to edit out the N word 3 times that you said it. So that part I'm going to leave in. But, um, yeah. Do you have anything else
Yeah,
you want to?
that doesn't really count because I said and drop a
That is
hard R.
true. It was
Yeah.
endearing when you said it like that. That's true.
Shit, we're getting canceled.
Yeah. Well, but like, do you have anything you want to plug for people to go find you and cancel you on?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. It's Evan Barrett Jiu-Jitsu. Real creative.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, dude. I know this was last minute, but I
No, that's
appreciate
okay.
it.
Let's do it again when we have 20 listeners, you know?
That sounds good. Yeah. 2 years and we'll have that.
Fuck yeah.
Thanks everyone for listening to episode 5 of Going In Blind.